Blink and you'll miss it. In 1923, there was the White Horse Final, one defining moment in the history of the FA Cup, watched by the world. You have to see it to believe it. 1930 and the Graf Zeppelin flies by. World War II would follow. A prisoner of war featured in 1956. Bert Trautmann's neck would break, but not his spirit. By 1968, our vision was in Technicolor. By 1973, even the ball was orange. A generation later, a baby boom was unfolding. At just 17, the youngest ever scorer in a cup final charmed even the veterans. Throughout the 90s and the noughties, more legends have graced the FA Cup, and not just on the pitch. And today we keep watching, hoping to glimpse another White Horse moment. Welcome to the FA Cup Preview Show. Coming up, a cup winner's brother on life at the lowest club left in the draw, Warrington Town.
The chairman had to go into hospital to have an operation yesterday to have the smile taken off his face. He hasn't stopped smiling since the draw was made.
Non-league high flyers Halifax Town are relishing their local derby against League One Bradford City.
The FA Cup's always special to get a big draw like we've done now, and if I can get a goal against Bradford, that'd be nice.
After a year without a home, Coventry City are back at the Ricoh Arena.
Returning here and the other things clicking into place that the club can start to grow again.
We'll also relive all the ups and downs from the qualifying rounds. Introduce the first in our series of great FA Cup runs. And our FA Cup quiz sends everyone wild.
Swans.
Magpies.
How many birds is there?
August, and the sights and sounds of Wembley seem a distant dream for many. But to taste glory, 13 stages must be navigated from the bottom up, and the qualifying rounds that mark the end of summer add another layer of romance to this most cultured of competitions.
Magia FA Cup.
FC Romania, just 8 years old and made up of largely Romanian immigrants, faced Haverhill Rovers in the extra preliminary round.
It was our dream, let's say, on the beginning to play on the FA Cup. And like you see today, that dream comes true.
A lacklustre no-score draw in front of their fanatical followers was not the start FC Romania wanted. But they pulled together an impressive run, finally falling to Sutton United in the second round of qualifying.
Mulțumim că ați venit să vedeți FC Romania. La revedere.
A miners' welfare derby was the standout tie in the preliminary round. Rainworth would host Staveley, two pit towns steeped in tradition.
Games between miners' welfare club used to be standard, of course, but nowadays so many clubs have lost their miners' welfare tag.
Staveley were the stronger miners' welfare team on the day, completing a 3-0 win over Rainworth.
Any reservations about taking over a club called City?
Salford City was our destination in September. The club were the object of a well-documented takeover from Manchester United's class of '92.
Salford is a place where we all grew up, and we want it to be somewhere where most football fans can come down and enjoy it. But we want to do it the right way. We don't want to be seen as big-time Charlies who've just done it for the publicity.
Opponents Nantwich were beaten 2-1, delighting the watching Phil Neville.
If we get into the first round proper, now, I mean, we all want to pull our boots on again.
Salford, though, would exit in the second qualifying round.
morning, just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Paul Topping and you're listening to Isle of Wight Radio. Looking like a calm day on the Solent today, which is good news for Newport, who are travelling to the mainland for their FA Cup tie with Winchester City this afternoon.
The Islanders of Newport went 3-0 down before a valiant comeback, 3 goals in quick succession, saw them draw level. But Winchester sunk them in a replay.
You all right?
There was a familiar face in charge at Colwyn Bay. Manager Frank Sinclair was an FA Cup winner himself with Chelsea in 1997.
Everything in the FA Cup I've probably experienced. The people behind the scenes very friendly and made me feel really at home.
Opponents Warrington Town were managed by Sean Reid, Peter Reid's brother. A feisty affair saw Sean Reid receive his marching orders. It would end up 1 apiece, but Warrington would triumph in a replay.
It is the best club competition in the world, by far, and we're in the hat, and it's the furthest the club's been, so hopefully we can go on from there.
And aiming to be in the hat alongside Sean Reid's team were Shildon and Norton United.
We're 125 years old. Of course, people say that I've been here all that long, but I haven't.
Norton never in the first round proper, and Shildon the lowest ranked team left in the competition.
My gut's telling me yes, we're going to do it. Yeah, 2 clear goals. I shouldn't really say that because I'm the worst prophet in the world.
Many would agree with you, Jim. Norton won the Wednesday night replay 2-1. A fitting conclusion to the qualifying rounds that provided more classic FA Cup highs and lows. St George's Park would host the draw conducted by Phil Neville and the FA's Community Coach of the Year, Tammy Snape, with Sean Reid also in attendance.
We're so excited about being in the draw. The FA Cup means it's massive for us non-league clubs.
And Reid's Warrington Town were drawn at home against League Two's Exeter City. We've just seen Norton triumph against Shildon, while their reward for reaching round 1 is a local derby at home to Gateshead. Also in the show, yet another competitive derby. Non-league Halifax against League One Bradford City. And Coventry City play Worcester City at the Ricoh Arena. For the 48 clubs that are joining in the first round, the FA Cup starts here. But for Warrington Town, their match against Exeter is another leg on a marathon journey.
Don't forget, we've played 7 games in this competition to get where we are, and it takes some doing. It's a massive day for them and the football club. They sold out within about 2 hours, I think 2,500 tickets, so everyone at the football club is quite shocked and very happy that they went so quickly. And the chairman had to go into hospital to have an operation yesterday to have the smile taken off his face. He hasn't stopped smiling since the draw was made. And I'm pleased for him because it's Warrington's day and all the supporters and everyone to do with the club. Well, I believe they're travelling up on the day as well, so it's a fair old journey, I can tell you. And they'll come out and have a look at our facilities, and it certainly won't be the bowling green they used to be playing on. And so it'll be a culture shock, and sometimes that can just give you a little bit of advantage.
The Reid family is no stranger to cup success. Sean was at Wembley when brother Peter took home a winner's medal with Everton in 1984. And Sean played against Peter for Rochdale. But nowadays, the elder brother is a useful ally in management.
It's interesting to get another point of view, actually, because as a manager, you'd always think you're right. And so to get someone else's opinion and everything, it does help. I'm sure he'll watch it, and he does keep in touch on a daily basis. So we'll be speaking before Friday again, and then I'm sure I'll give him a call after the game.
Having an Everton legend as a brother does have its advantages. Sean and Peter share the same contacts book. So one phone call later, and Everton had offered the use of their training facilities at Finch Farm.
It's a massive week, it's probably the biggest game in the club's history. We're here at Finch Farm, the lads are giving that obviously 10% more with the game on Friday. Massive game, and the lads are looking very sharp tonight.
Well done.
Even the friends in work, that's all they seem to want to talk about. You've got to sometimes switch off from it and just concentrate on what you're doing. And then when the time comes on Friday, all get our heads tuned on and go for the game.
Have a look around, yeah, know what's on.
Everton's training ground was the perfect place for Sean's game plan to take shape. Motivating the Warrington team will not be an issue.
The only problem I'll have is getting the door open before they run through it, because I'm sure on that night they'll be wanting to run through brick walls for the town, for the club and for myself.
Everyone loves the giant killer, don't they? And the millions that'll be watching will be supporting Warrington Town on the day, and they're definitely backing us to beat Exeter.
Well done, Rob, good talking, son.
To be honest, they're not going to like coming to our place. Let's face it, especially the way we play. We are a tough team. We're going to come here, they're a couple of leagues higher, but I'm hoping for a real upset, to be honest.
We'll do everything in our armoury to get up against them, make it difficult. Pitch is a bit of a leveller, 11v11, Friday night, under the lights. There'll be a lot of passion out there.
They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, how about Halifax Town? Financial trouble saw them expelled from the football pyramid in 2008. 6 years later, they've reformed and have shot back up the non-league ranks. Now they face Bradford in a compelling West Yorkshire derby.
Out of everyone that was in there, I think Sheffield United and Bradford were the ones that stood out, and when the names come out of the hat, to get Bradford was fantastic.
I was ecstatic at the draw. I think everyone was in the town and around the club. I don't think, from the club's point of view and the fans' point of view, I don't think we could ask for a better draw.
It whets everybody's appetite. I mean, the FA Cup is a fantastic competition, and when you're playing a local derby, it sets everything up, and it's a big tie, but it's what the FA Cup's about.
Halifax are still a semi-professional club, but their Shea Stadium is a cut above most non-league grounds.
We're strong at the Shea and in the league, so I don't think they'll enjoy it, and I don't think they're on the best of runs, so I don't think it'll be an easy game for them.
They might be confident, but let's hope Neil Aspin's men aren't camera shy. The game is being shown live on TV, and everyone loves an underdog, don't they?
It's a totally different environment on Sunday. It becomes a little bit more pressure when it's televised, but certainly when the game starts, you don't think about there being any cameras there. It's just purely on concentrating on the game.
I don't think Alla played in as many fans or in as big a game, but once the game kicks off, it's just like any other game. I think that goes out of the window and you're concentrating on the game.
And sometimes it can be harder to focus when the cameras are in town.
We've been doing a photo shoot for the new clothing line that's come out for the Halifax Town website. I think it was the best looking lad in the club, so they've chose me. Yeah, there was me and a couple of others lads that have been chosen.
New Look Halifax have lost just 2 league games at home in 2 years, but this tie is the highlight.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. I've been since it was drawn.
As soon as it came out of the hat, I was like, wow. It was like the tie we've been wanting.
Biggest game since we got reformed.
The FA Cup used to be the biggest game of the season, so it always has some magic. But Sunday it's like a cup final for us.
The FA Cup's always special because it's dreams in it to get a big draw like we've done now, and if I can get a goal against Bradford that'd be nice.
Growing up, the FA Cup, it's always been a big cup competition, and everyone wants to play in the FA Cup, and if we can pull off a shock and we can get a few rounds in, maybe, or who knows, we can get one of the big boys.
Now to upset Bradford. It would be the biggest achievement yet for this Halifax, and their one man and his dog. Still to come, why Stephen Presley's Coventry City are gunning for a cup run.
We have aspirations to be in the latter stages of this competition, and we'll certainly be driving that through to the players.
We're travelling down memory lane in Brighton. And our quiz contestants turn to technology for assistance.
Oh, right, where's my phone? So I can Google.
Back in '83, I was a season ticket holder.
I was 13 years old and a regular on the North Stand.
I'd just started my career in journalism. The Seagulls shock a nation.
We're drawn at home to Newcastle United. It was a miserable January day.
It was 1-1 and I thought, oh well, that's that.
A forgettable game because I can't remember what happened.
Peter Ward scored and we held out and we started this amazing cup run.
Man City were, like us, near the bottom of the table, so it wasn't considered a particularly difficult draw.
Well, Man City obviously weren't the force that they were now, but it was unexpected to win 4-0, most certainly. In those days, the cup draw was on a Monday, lunchtime, and we drew Liverpool. And the Albion go to Anfield.
They really were underdogs for that game. I don't think anyone expected Brighton to beat what was a great Liverpool side.
Our man at the time was Jimmy Melia, who had played for Liverpool. And of course we had Jimmy Case, who we'd signed from Liverpool as well.
Brighton took the lead, great run down the wing, cut inside to Jerry Ryan, who just slotted it in at the near post. Liverpool defence was nowhere. 1-0 to Brighton. Liverpool equalised with a Craig Johnson overhead kick in a crowded box, 1-1. Jimmy Case stepped up, absolute screamer from the edge of the area.
2-1 and a famous victory, which made me think, oh, well, maybe we will get to the Twin Towers after all.
The Goldstone Ground.
Norwich at home, the Goldstone was Bolton. It was an all-ticket game, about 28,000.
They did hand over about half of the North Stand to the Norwich City fans, about 7,000 people there.
Steve Foster's headband.
He was an inspirational figure during that period.
Great side. Happy days, as it were.
It was a pretty brutal, scrappy affair on a bog of a pitch.
Jimmy Case, who was sort of put through, a fantastic goal, and we won it 1-0.
In that game, they were actually the favourites. They were playing Sheffield Wednesday from the division below.
It was a fantastically hot day.
A game played at Highbury, absolute scorchio day, 27,000 fans.
And of course, we winning 2-1 with Jimmy Case scoring a fantastic free kick.
The entire clock end just goes absolutely mad. Lo and behold, God knows how, we're at Wembley.
Wembley.
Steve Foster was suspended. Tony Grealish is the captain. As a mark of respect to Steve Foster, wears the headband coming out.
And Smith must score.
But Smith did score. Ball gets crossed in from the far right wing. Gordon Smith, he's just managed to get in between McQueen and Moran and buried the ball into the far corner. People said Gary Bailey was in the wrong place. No, it was that good a header. It was no surprise when Manchester United got their equaliser. Ray Wilkins had the ball knocked to him. An absolute beautiful curling shot, to be fair, into the top corner. 6 minutes from time, Brighton get a corner. Gary Stevens, slap bang in the middle of the penalty area, controls it, knocks it past Bailey, and it gets to the 120th minute.
He's inside the Manchester United penalty area. He finds Smith, and Smith must score, and he hasn't scored, and Bailey has saved it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit harsh on Gordon that it kind of lives on.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good save by Gary Bailey, actually, the Man United goalkeeper.
Was it a miss from Smith? Was it a save from Bailey? Depends on your viewpoint. Fact is, it didn't go in that one little moment. Just sums up what it is to be a Brighton and Hove Albion fan, just so very nearly. Must we?
Indeed.
It was vitally important for everybody that we returned this season.
You look up at the stadium and you're proud to say that it's part of Coventry, because that's what we are, we're Coventry people.
It was a bit frustrating for the first few games, but finally we get back home.
Coventry City have returned to the Ricoh Arena after a year in exile.
The owners of the club didn't want to pay the rent here. for a number of different reasons. So they decided to up the club, pull the plug and move to Northampton. Obviously, 99% of the supporters wouldn't go ahead with that, so the games at Northampton were very, very lowly supported. Eventually, pressure told, and they decided to move back to the Rico.
When you have to travel 35 miles every game, you don't really feel, as a player, you don't really feel like you play at home.
It's been very, very difficult. It's destroyed most of our friendships. You know, you go to the game, win, draw or lose, and you make friends. That's all been taken away from us. A lot of people are bitter. There's still people bitter now. There's still people who won't come to the games.
The wounds won't heal overnight, but there's a feeling that a return to Coventry can be the catalyst for the club to rise again.
You know, there's two ways to change a football club. You can either throw money at it and hope that you can bring success, or you build from the foundations up, and that's what we're doing. And you know, in order to move forward, a big part of that was returning to the city, and hopefully returning here, the club can start to grow again and, as I've said, fulfil its true potential.
All supporters are behind him. They know that it's not his fault. You know, the finances is a major problem that we're going to have. It'll always be for a club of our size.
First game here, you know, I know Coventry for what they done a few years ago, and to know that this club is in League One, it's a bit like, wow, hard, you know, it's not normal.
The supporters here have been starved of any true success since 1987, and in football, you know, patience is a virtue.
Cup football returns to the Rico this weekend with the visit of non-league Worcester. It's 3 decades since the Sky Blues' most famous cup moment, but last season's exploits are fresh in the memory.
We experienced a decent run last year, you know, resulting in a terrific draw at Arsenal, and obviously we went out to the winners on the day, but you know, we want to go further than that.
We know it will be not an easy game. You know how is it when you play against a team who is below you. It's a big cup for them, like it's a big cup for us, because we all want to play against Man United or, you know, or Arsenal. So we know, like, we have to be focused, we have to be ready, because it will be a nightmare if we don't start very well the game.
Against Worcester, we'll be expected to win the game, so we have to deal with that pressure. We have to perform properly in a very professional manner. The one thing for sure is we'll certainly not be underestimating the opposition. We never do that.
I don't think Worcester will be looking forward to playing us, but I think they'll enjoy coming to the Rico Arena, because this is in a magnificent stadium.
We have aspirations to be in the latter stages of this competition, and you know, we'll certainly be driving that through to the players.
So we return now to Phil and Tammy at St George's Park to round up the draw. Some intriguing picks amongst the ties. AFC Fylde have a long trip to Plymouth, and 6th tier Gosport Borough are at home to League One Colchester United. Also in action, Blythe Spartans, who reached the FA Cup 5th round in 1978, against another giant killer of the past in Altrincham. Finally this week, it's back. It's our FA Cup quiz.
I'm beating him. If he got 3, I'm getting 5.
Actually, Sean, your brother Peter got 5 out of 5 back in 2013, somehow.
It was the hardest quiz questions in the world.
Right, where's my phone? So I can Google. I don't care, you can tell him I cheated.
Question 1. Who was the last non-league team to beat a team from the Premier League in the FA Cup?
Non-league team beat Premier League? Oh.
Let's have a think. That would be Luton Town.
Luton? Oh, I'll go for that then. Luton Town, I'm happy.
Correct. Luton Town beat Norwich in 2013's 4th round. Question 2. Coventry won the final against Tottenham in 1987, 3-2. But who scored at both ends during that match?
Oh, I'm unsure of that.
Well, I know that one as well.
Gary Mabbutt.
And that would have been Gary Mabbutt.
Ah, was it Gary Mabbutt? Incredible.
It was indeed Gary Mabbutt, the Tottenham defender. Question 3. Peter Reid now manages in the Indian Super League, but which 2 well-known FA Cup winners have been under his guidance in India?
I don't know a lot about Indian football.
FA Cup winners?
Tony Adams.
No idea.
Freddie Lundberg and Anelka.
Oh my word.
I tried to get them both on loan for Friday's game, but he said no.
An easy one for Sean. Freddie Lundberg and Nicholas Anelka have been playing in India. Question 4. What year did Bradford City win their only FA Cup?
They lifted the FA Cup.
Speaking as somebody who obviously used to be a Leeds supporter.
What year did Bradford?
If I get the decade, is that right?
1920.
1920 something.
1957.
Tough one. Bradford won the Cup in 1911. And finally, question 5. A white horse is synonymous with the FA Cup final in 1923. But name 3 Cup-winning sides with animal-related nicknames.
The Eagles.
Well, Newcastle have won the Cup and they're Magpies.
Canaries.
The Rams.
Robins.
Wolves.
Swans.
Sheffield Wednesday must have won the FA Cup and they're the Owls.
How many birds is there?
Sunderland won the FA Cup against Leeds and they're the Black Cats.
Oh, the Black Cats. What a dope I am.
Neil knows his animal nicknames best, and he's our overall winner with 3 correct answers.
Yeah, I've got 3 there. I'll take that and then that's all right. Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
So the world's oldest cup competition is ready for round 1, and another chapter is about to be written in the great history of the FA Cup.